Running the risk of sounding like a totally hypocrite, let's talk about sim rage or seeing red. Everyone has had it to some degree. I've had it, you've had it, and lately with YouTube and streaming, it seems like everyone has it. I'm doing this video as I was asked to do it. It's an interesting topic, and also a recent video from Dave Cam made it more interesting. This video is about the types of sim rage and maybe how to relax a little, mentioning tactics I've been using lately to control my stupid temper, and I do have one. Check my streams to confirm. Maybe it'll help some, maybe not, but maybe you can fill in as well. What does help though is all of you with your support. A big thank you to all the members, subscribers and viewers. I'm trying to get 100,000 subscribers. It's almost there. Hopefully it's this year in a few months. And the best way to help the channel out is really pressing like and subscribing if you enjoy these videos. And also, why not become a member? Thank you all. Anyways, let's firstly define what is seeing red. The expression literally means lose your temper or become really angry, that's it. As sim racing or esports is a very stress-intense environment, shit happens all the time either by too much aggression or mistakes or a string of events. It's not unusual to, tempers to flare up. Not everyone is like Moritz Lohner, where even the worst incidents are kind of shrugged off. Not everyone is like me, where I become very, imaginative with my Portuguese expellatives. I think I've been doing lately better. From what I see, there are 3 levels of seeing red. Level 1 is basically getting really annoyed or agitated, starting with the cursing at the screen or at voice chat if you are using iRacing. I guess that voice chat can cover all 3 levels if you think about it. But the important thing about level 1 is that it is normal. Almost everyone gets here at some point. The danger isn't really the anger itself, it's actually ignoring the anger and not doing anything about it. At level 1, the best thing you can do is acknowledge your rage and your anger. Notice it. The moment you hear yourself start talking out loud about virtual murder, that's the warning sign. That's your cue to slow the situation down, not to speed it up. This is where a small reset matters. Break a touch earlier for a corner or take a clean exit. Focus on something boring and mechanical, like hitting apexes or getting good exits. You're not trying to be fast here, you're trying to stay in control of your mind. If you deal with it here, most of the time, the rage never really goes further. However, if you stream or press push to talk, be careful with your words. Level 2 is when we start doing something about it, becoming more aggressive against the opponent, not having any problems in trading paints, and if he dies, he dies.
If he dies, he dies.
This is the level where people convince themselves they're still racing hard, but the truth is, emotion has kinda taken the wheel. Decisions stop being about racecraft and start being about payback. At level 2, the mindset shifts from I want to race well to I want to make a point. And this is where races can fall apart really fast. If we let this escalate, there's always the problem of overcommitting or do some sneaky retaliation. There's a balance to be had here. This level may still be okay if there's some sort of mental control of the situation, racing harder but not seeing red, but sometimes it may be more difficult as some drivers are really aggressive, they go for the dives, they bump you over and over again and then defend to hell while turning, while braking, and then when you actually overtake them, they will still simply bump you off. Anyways, how do you deal with drivers like these? Let me know. Then there's level 3. It's basically intentionally wrecking someone. At this point, it's no longer heat of the moment, it's really not aggression, it's not racing, it's really your choice. And once you cross that line, everything else stops mattering. You're talking about safety rating, reputation, respect, even your enjoyment of the sim. Intentionally wrecking doesn't really fix the incident that caused the rage, it doesn't teach the other driver a lesson, and it doesn't make the race better, it just makes it worse. All it does, it's turning a bad moment into a guaranteed bad outcome. And the truth is, if you get to level 3, the race is basically already over, whether you admit it or not. The only real control left at that point is choosing not to make it worse. That's really the hard part about it, because it means backing down when your ego is screaming to act and to do literal virtual murder. The biggest mistake people make is trying to fix the situation immediately. You get a hit, you lose positions, and your first instinct is to get it all back right now. That urgency is what pushes you from being annoyed to being aggressive and sometimes a dickhead. What we seem to forget is that we are not only racing against the other guy, but also a bunch of other people. And the amount of times I've been collected by retaliation against third parties is really over 9,000. The moment something happens, the best thing you can do is slow yourself down on purpose, not dramatically, just enough. Brake a bit earlier, be patient on throttle, whatever. Tell yourself you're not going to do anything clever for the next couple of corners. That alone prevents most stupid decisions. You breathe in, you breathe out, curse or yell, whatever. If you catch yourself thinking, "I'll show him," or "I'm not letting that go," that's already level 3 knocking on the door, and when that thought appears, it's time to back off for a lap. Not quit, just reset. One clean lap can change everything. And it also helps to accept that some races are already compromised. Not every race is about winning, sometimes it's really about finishing without making it worse. Once you accept that, the pressure kind of drops, and so does the impulse to do something stupid. So how do I deal with this? This is of course purely personal, it's just an idea, and my latest habit is a bit of a mind game I do with myself, using the stream chat as some sort of damper. It's an interactive, funny joke. I try to do it in a bizarre, stupid way. It's borderline moronic, but it works quite well. I ask the stream, when they see me too agitated or cursing way too much, to write the phrase on chat.
Swiper, no swiping!
Look, don't judge. There is a reason for the madness. It is stupid, but I promise you, it does make sense. Let's go back to basics for a little bit. First, if you ask somebody else to write down calm down, or to tell you to calm down, you've probably seen this before somewhere, it really never really calms them down.
I've got to get out of here! Calm down, get a hold of yourself!
Stewardess, please let me handle this.
I've got to get...
I'll take care of this. Calm down. Calm down.
If you say something as bizarre and in context kind of funny, it really disarms a rage in a weird way. Then secondly, and this might be just for me, having a third party controlling your state of mind in any way is kind of embarrassing as an adult. So with this in mind, you actually prime yourself to actively avoid the escalation of seeing red. And thirdly, most importantly, swipe or no swiping is such a much better safe word than whatever Van der Sex uses as one, and we all know how that ended. This is my way to do it. There are plenty of other ways, I'm pretty sure, and you have some, and if you have some, tell me in the comments. Remember, we are all human here and nobody gets it right all the time. I don't, you don't, and the goal isn't really never to feel angry. It's to stop the feeling from controlling what you do next. If you can turn a bad moment into a quiet lap instead of a crash, that is a win already. Because in sim racing, most of the damage isn't really caused by the first incident, it's caused by what you do after it. It can be an eager overtake, it can be a dive bomb in retaliation to a dive bomb, it can be an over-escalation, or it can be something really stupid as we've seen in the past in that video before, or it can be something that you wrote or something that you said. At the end of the day, sim racing is supposed to be a hobby and most of us aren't pros. I'm not a pro. We sit down to race because we enjoyed it, and when seeing red takes over, that enjoyment disappears, not just for you, but everyone else inside the sim. And also, if this stuff happens on track, real life, why wouldn't it happen here where we're just behind the screen? The level 1 happens all the time. Level 2 is where things start slipping, but you still have control, and level 3 is a line you really don't want to cross. I'm not saying I've figured out this completely, I'd be lying if I say so. I still get annoyed, I still make mistakes, I still yell and curse. You guys are the witness to this, but I'm saying that I've been working on it, and my enjoyment has been improving even when shit happens. Just recognizing the warning signs and giving yourself that pause, even for 1 lap or 2 laps or even half a lap or a couple of corners, it makes a huge difference. Remember, if it got to that point, it's better to leave the game entirely instead of constantly tilting like it happens in esports. If you are feeling that you are getting tilted, you breathe in, you finish the race, you take a break, you relax, you forget about it, and that's really better than someone asking you to touch grass, I believe. Long story short, too long didn't watch it. The incident doesn't define the race, your reaction does. If you've got your own ways of dealing with this, drop them in the comments. We are still learning.